The day my childhood friend Jason and I had our biggest fight. He slapped me for the sake of his beloved Emily. In retaliation, I broke 3 of his ribs. He screamed about divorce. But I refused. I thought we'd be locked in this bitter stalemate until death. Life had other plans. 3 months later, I fell head over heels for Kyle, an earnest younger guy who kept begging for commitment. Resigned. I pulled that familiar number from my blocked list. When the call connected, Emily's mocking voice chirped, "Too late. Ivy. Even if you come crawling back now, Jason wouldn't spare you a glance. Tell Jason I want the divorce," I stated calmly. Scuffling noises erupted before Jason's voice came through, trembling with suppressed emotion. "Ivy. You wouldn't dare." During our worst year, after I'd confronted Emily, Jason retaliated by serving divorce papers, his first ever mention of separation in 3 years of marriage. I broke his ribs that night, choking him unconscious as he tried to speak. "Divorce is impossible," I'd hissed. "You made me this monster. Now you'll live in my shadow forever. With Emily forever your dirty secret." I'd stockpiled properties and plotted endless schemes to torment them. 3 years of marriage had transformed me from blushing bride to vengeance-driven madwoman. But fate intervened on the 3rd day of my crusade. While Jason denounced me as deranged to hospital visitors, I tripped over. Kyle collapsed outside my gate. The starving teenager mistook my red dress for his birth mother's final memory before abandonment. His weak grip on my skirt accompanied a delirious murmur of "Mom. Water?" I'd asked, mishearing. He'd already fainted. Later, Kyle explained his hallucination without embarrassment. The 6'3" giant now watched me with concerned puppy dog eyes. Forehead resting on the sofa arm, his gentle nature contradicted his imposing frame when our eyes met. He'd tense like a nervous golden retriever awaiting approval. Realizing the malice I had just directed towards such an innocent, almost translucent soul, I felt troubled yet incapable of humility. 3 years of toxic marriage had taught me only to mask vulnerability with aggression and provocation. I'd spent every moment entangled with Jason, nearly forgetting that before marrying him, I'd been the proudest heiress of the Thompson family, that poised, self-assured version of myself now buried deep in memory's vault. The world tasted bitter on my tongue these days. I'd believed myself condemned to perpetual hatred until Kyle reached out, pawing at my hand like an eager puppy until my palm unfolded to receive the pendant he'd worn since birth, his parents' sole gift before his father's accidental death and mother's abandonment. This trinket held his last remnant of childhood warmth. Yet here he was placing it in my grasp. "This used to be my most precious thing," Kyle said, curling my fingers around the pendant before brushing his lips against my clenched fist. "Now you're what matters most. I want you to have this happiness." It marked his 3rd month living in my home. I'd taken him in half mockingly, waiting to discover what the stray sought to gain. Yet he simply tied an apron and bustled about my kitchen, preparing newly learned nutritious meals with the same skillet I'd once bought to brain Jason during arguments. The oversized tool looked comically small in his work-roughened hands. Yet he wielded it deftly, sunlight gilding his amber eyes into liquid gold as he hummed over sizzling vegetables. "Why so content?" I finally blurted, drawn despite myself. "Because I get to cook for you." His answer hung between us, ripe with unspoken possibilities, gratitude for stable shelter, joy in nurturing someone, or perhaps something more. I let the mystery linger. Under my protection, Kyle had secured decent employment where none dared bully the parentless boy with his artless kindness. At 19, he'd foregone college after losing his tuition savings to train station scammers, yet now arrived home each evening bearing groceries. "Fretting over my slender wrists, you're all bones," he'd lament, massive frame dwarfing my boxing-toned physique. His colleagues described him as reserved yet tireless, the first to volunteer extra tasks, radiating quiet warmth through actions rather than words. Social interactions tinted his cheeks pink, but his work ethic disarmed critics. Where I saw perpetual shadows, Kyle carried sunlight in his smile, nourished by regular meals and security. We were opposites orbiting strange gravity, my cynicism disarmed by his guileless offerings. His battered optimism flourishing in my guarded world. The skillet meant for violence now sautéed garlic in golden puffs. And the pendant meant for remembering loss became an unexpected bridge between two fractured souls. The current me is too consumed by darkness, spending each day obsessing over ways to torment my cheating husband and his little mistress. When I hesitated to confront Jason at the hospital earlier, fearing Kyle might collapse on my doorstep, that didn't mean I'd given up on making Jason suffer. This man who spent 27 years as my childhood sweetheart, pursuing me with his entire blazing youth, guarding me like precious treasure, only to grow bored within a year of marriage and chase after some doe-eyed girl bearing faint resemblance to me. Our last encounter in Jason's office replays constantly. I'd gone to discuss divorce papers after 3 years of marriage, 1 year of passion followed by 2 years of self-doubt and emotional erosion. Just as I'd gathered courage to confront our failing union, I found Emily hiding under his desk. The way they exchanged glances right before me. Emily's smug smile pressed against Jason's thigh as he leaned back with that obscene throat roll. I saw red. My palm connected with Emily's cheek before I registered moving. Her porcelain skin bloomed crimson as Jason's voice cut through the ringing silence. Ivy. I turned instinctively, only to stagger from his retaliatory blow. His sneer dripped contempt. Finally learned to fight for my attention? Pity, it only makes you uglier. Memories flashed teenage Jason's starry-eyed confession, you look like a princess when you hold your head high. Let me protect that pride forever. Contrasted with present-day venom, Emily knows how to please me. Where's your effort to prove devotion? At galas. Emily would cower behind Jason while society watched our icy standoff. I'd stand ramrod straight beneath crystal chandeliers, my stiff spine the only crown left. Yet whenever I removed my wedding band, he'd chase me into shadowed corners, lips trailing my neck. Getting jealous. My rose? You know I only keep her to stir your passion. His chuckle vibrated against my skin. Your stubbornness is adorable. The final unraveling came when I smashed the ashtray into Jason's face. Emily cowered by the bookshelf as I straddled him, screaming, you dare touch me? Blood streaked his designer shirt while I rained blows. Divorce me then. He choked, eyes blazing with that familiar cruel thrill. Something snapped. My laughter echoed manically. No, what's beautiful? Jason? Assault charges carry prison time. But domestic violence? Just a slap on the wrist. My thumbs pressed his Adam's apple. We'll stay married forever, so I can break you slowly. His terror tasted sweeter than any declaration of love. Yet as my hands trembled mid-strangle, cold logic pierced the haze death would grant him mercy. No. I'll survive on hatred alone. Let society call me hysterical. Let my reputation burn. This twisted dance continues until warm fingers suddenly interlaced with mine. I turned around to find Kyle kneeling before me, his hands gently prying open my clenched fists marked with crescent-shaped nail indentations. When pressing my palms and offering water failed to calm me, he pressed his warm cheek against mine, anchoring me back from the emotional tempest. The teenager gazed up with puppy dog eyes, his youthful face caught between boyish softness and striking angular features that hinted at mixed heritage. Though undeniably handsome, Kyle's crystalline gaze held such innocence that it dampened any improper thoughts. His flushed ears betrayed embarrassment, yet concern outweighed self-consciousness. Promise not to hurt yourself anymore. Okay? He implored breathlessly, lifting my hand to rest atop his bristly cropped hair, a tactile reminder of our inside joke from his first week here, when I demanded unlimited head pat privileges as his boarding condition. Watching his awkward attempts at comfort, I finally voiced the question festering for months, what do you really want from me? Kyle? Once I'd believed in soul-deep connections. Jason had woven me a grass ring during our kindergarten meet-cute, vowing to protect his princess forever. Throughout school, he erected an impenetrable shield around me, rebuffing admirers with sneers like why would I look at you when Ivy exists. He waited faithfully during my 3-year London MBA program, surprising me during first snowfall with whispered devotion. When I returned to battle my father's illegitimate heirs for corporate control, Jason cheered my first CEO appointment, my sugar mama. Better work hard to keep my trophy husband title respectable. The night he proposed, fireworks ignited the city sky as he kissed my knuckles. My entire lifetime won't be enough to cherish you. I'd missed the warning signs, his wistful comments about wives who naturally become more nurturing, his theatrical sigh about adventuring with my alpha female. Now he'd transferred all our romantic blueprints to Emily, smirking as he justified, such rewards suit a proper girlfriend. But you, his exhale carried poisonous pity. If time rewound, I'd still fall for the Ivy who needed saving. Not this boardroom harpy. After that soul-crushing betrayal, I stopped believing in selfless devotion, which explained why I kept waiting for Kyle's true motives to surface: financial demands, career favors, anything to expose his Achilles heel. Instead, the boy now sat trembling, barely audible as he asked, "Can I still cook for you after moving out tomorrow?" My sudden laughter sliced through the tension. "Is this what you want?" I traced his jawline, recalling the night I'd overheard his shower moans. Kyle's entire body flushed crimson, breath hitching as my thumb brushed his lower lip. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." Kyle's eyes glistened with unshed tears, his shame palpable. "You took me in out of kindness. Yet I harbored such filthy thoughts." I recalled how I'd investigated Kyle's entire background the second day he moved into my penthouse. Every detail. Which was how I knew he remained untouched. Suddenly, my teasing mood evaporated. Tilting his chin up, I commanded bluntly, "Hold me." When those muscular arms encircled me, I felt strangely disoriented. I'd expected memories of Jason parading Emily past me to resurface: the rage, the heartache, the twisted satisfaction of revenge. Instead, all I saw were Kyle's eyes brimming with devotion, their corners crinkling as his breath hitched when our bodies aligned. The soft whimpers escaping his throat reminded me of an eager puppy. Admittedly, this was the first genuine peace I'd felt in 3 years. Whatever Kyle's motives, his clean health record and enthusiastic performance made him ideal for pulling me from emotional quicksand. My teeth sank into my lower lip until his callous thumb gently pried it free, his movements growing urgent even as concern etched his features. The timing couldn't be worse when my ex-husband's call interrupted. Jason hadn't adjusted to my recent indifference. "Ivy." His voice oozed false warmth. "That $3 million necklace we bought, I need it delivered immediately. It'll complement Emily's gown tonight. The money's already in your account." When I stayed silent, he chuckled. "Pouting again? Don't blame me, darling. Such jewels enhance her charm but weigh down has-beens like you. Face it, you've lost your spark." A moan escaped me. Dead silence followed before Jason exploded. "Where are you? What the hell are you doing?" "None of your damn business," I rasped, pleasure and irritation mingling. "Annoying bastard, consider the divorce finalized. Stop cock-blocking me with your pathetic calls." Kyle nuzzled my neck, his gravelly murmur dripping with false innocence. "Don't talk to mean people, Ivy." Rough fingers trailed up my arm to end the call. My phone stayed off for 3 glorious days. When I finally powered it on, I was lounging against Kyle's chest as he massaged my calves. Teasingly shifting my legs made him blush to his ears. I considered prolonging the game but remembered his vigorous capabilities, opting instead to sort through messages. Most were Jason's increasingly unhinged texts. "Day 1, you're actually cheating?" Day 3, "Stop this madness. Ivy. You'll always need me. Come beg properly and I might take you back." Scrolling to the last message, "Wake up. You're not that untouchable ice queen anymore. No one but me would tolerate your," I smirked, palming Kyle's sculpted abs. "Unlovable? Honey, I'm having the time of my life." Dialing Jason, I let it ring until Emily's saccharine voice answered Jason's showering. Too late for apologies. Ice Queen. Tell him I'll sign. The phone clattered before Jason's growl came through. Playing hard to get won't work. You know how this game ends. Compensation terms accepted. Your side piece gets promoted in 30 days. Click. Outside my floor-to-ceiling windows, Manhattan glittered. Kyle's arms tightened around me as I finally breathed freely. Let Jason keep his discount Cinderella. I'd found far more entertaining diversions. Impossible. This time, it was Jason who firmly rejected from the other end. But I had no time to waste arguing. Hurry up and get this done. My boy can't wait to make things official. I don't have time for idle chatter. The line went silent for 2 beats after I hung up, as if he needed to digest my words. Then the flood of incoming calls began. With a decisive flick, I pulled out the SIM card and used my secondary phone to instruct my assistant to contact our lawyers about drafting divorce papers. Alone in the cavernous room, sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows illuminated everything yet offered no warmth. I burrowed deeper into the sofa, wrapping myself in a throw blanket that did nothing against the chill seeping into my bones. The delayed realization hit my heart was weeping. I'd imagined reclaiming my dignity after years of humiliation would taste like victory. Yet all I felt was exhaustion. For one terrifying moment, I felt ancient, my meticulously maintained hair and flawless complexion meaningless as vitality drained from my limbs. My heart pumping hollow. Staring at the ceiling's blank canvas, I retraced my life's path. 3 years lost in this quagmire of toxic entanglements. 3 years ago, I'd been different. My father's endless affairs. My mother's perpetual tears. Hordes of half-siblings circling like vultures. Grandma took me in until her death when I was 10. Returning home meant facing father's parade of mistresses and a mother who'd clutch me weeping, only to complain to him later, even our daughter disapproves. Can't you change? She always played the victim. I still care about us. She'd plead. Can't we be a family again? But father cherished his harem and bastards more than dignity. Mother's tears became permanent fixtures. I learned to build fortresses. By 28, I'd carved respect from Shanghai's elite circles despite being the unloved first daughter. Wrested 3 companies from my scheming father and thriving siblings. Built them into empires. Before this disastrous marriage, I'd been the perfect heiress everyone admired. This union made me a laughingstock. The old me would have cut losses immediately. Why hadn't I? Pressing palms to my temples, I remembered 10-year-old me facing that hostile mansion. Jason appearing behind me with burning sincerity. There you are, princess. I've been waiting. His childhood vow. Mom says everyone here wants to hurt you. Don't worry, I'll always protect you. Foolish child. Believing sweet lies. That vulnerable trust became the dagger he'd later twist deepest. A single tear escaped as I acknowledged the truth all these years. I'd been my own protector. Yet I'd let myself become this shattered version. Pathetic. Warm fingers brushed my eyelids, blinking moisture away. I met concerned hazel eyes. Kyle stood before me, worry etching his handsome features. He was still holding a tray in his hands. I went to cook earlier, he said. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have left you alone. The young man gently set down the food before sitting beside me. His voice barely above a whisper. Can I hold you? I nodded. Immediately, those muscular arms clumsily encircled me. Kyle remained utterly cautious. Every muscle in his body tensed as if fearing I might shatter in his embrace. This was a hug devoid of any aggression. He'd transformed himself into my human pillow. When my head rested against that solid chest, I heard his heartbeat through layers of skin and flesh. Steady thumps that gradually warmed my fingertips. He cradled my wrist against his heart, murmuring with tenderness, "Stop hurting yourself." This was the second time he'd said those words to me. Use me however you need, as long as it makes you happy. Those earnest young features stared back at me, eyes still retaining their crystalline clarity yet burning with fervent devotion. Love might be the world's most unreliable currency. But couldn't it serve as temporary emotional first aid? At least for now. Kyle would make a decent emotional crutch. I reasoned. I could feel myself gradually emerging from psychological quicksand. The vengeful voices in my head quieting into rationality. For 3 years, I'd grown thorns to mutually destroy others and myself. Now, I simply wanted better because someone wished better for me. When I next leaned against Kyle's chest in dazed contemplation, I found myself standing in endless snowfall. This momentary world contained no Jason. No Emily. Not even Kyle. Just me standing in rain-soaked isolation. Staring at my reflection. "Don't fail yourself again," I whispered, extending my hand to seal this pact. On the appointed divorce signing day, Jason never showed. I had my assistant track his location before storming into his regular bar. The private booth revealed him half-drunk with Emily in his lap. At my entrance, he deliberately avoided eye contact, theatrically kissing Emily's forehead while slurring, "You're better, hers is a heart carved from stone." I strode forward and slapped him hard, divorce papers raining down like confetti. "Ivy!" The fake drunkenness evaporated from his furious face. "Sober now?" "Sign." My glacial tone matched my expression. "Never." His grip tightened on the pen. "Can't you understand? I just wanted gentleness. Compliance. Was that too much? I groveled for months when courting you. Why can't you bend once?" His rising agitation made him stagger upright. But my second slap sent him reeling. "Because you were desperate," I sneered. "I lack your talent for pretense. Or demanding others change when the mask slips." Jason stared with wounded disbelief before delivering his killing blow. "No wonder your parents never loved you." The old dagger twisted, but found empty space where my heart used to be. As I raised my hand for a third strike, Emily threw herself between us. "Sis. Blame me. Don't hurt Jason." Behind her, Jason's mocking smirk froze when a large warm hand enveloped mine. Kyle examined my palm, breath ghosting over reddened skin. "Did that hurt?" In the dim bar lighting, his eyes blazed like twin supernovas. Jason's face darkened. "Ivy, give me an explanation." I ignored him, just pinching Kyle's cheek. "Once we finish the divorce, I'll take you for a ride." "Ivy!" Feeling neglected, Jason showed his displeasure, shouting my name. "Sign it. I'm in a hurry." I turned around, looking at him coldly. Jason studied my expression, visibly unsettled until confirming my seriousness. He grew angry. "You're leaving me for this trash? What does he have that I don't?" "He's young." I smiled, throwing his own words back at him. "And knows how to pamper me. Knights have an age limit. Remember? When you wanted to divorce me for Emily. I'm simply returning the favor. No love left. Why waste each other's time? You know I never." His lips trembled, but when met with my mocking gaze, he suddenly grabbed the divorce papers and shredded them. "I won't sign. We're bound till death." "Ivy!" His eyes burned with desperate hope. I didn't spare him another glance, leading Kyle out casually. "Next time then. My boy's hungry." The crash of overturned furniture followed us. Outside, I noticed Kyle's flushed cheeks. "I'm not a boy," he murmured, swaying closer with puppy dog eyes. "Want proof?" "Later." I ruffled his messy hair, steering toward the parking lot. "You've work tomorrow." He nuzzled my palm, lips brushing my fingertips. "I've energy to spare," he insisted, tugging his tie loose as I pulled him toward the car, suddenly airborne in his arms. I whispered backseat hoarsely. When Jason refused divorce, I stopped pursuing it. Instead, I revived my social life, attending galas with Kyle draped on my arm, mirroring Jason's past behavior with Emily. His business buddies looked uncomfortable. "Who's this? Sis-in-law?" one asked, recalling how they'd called Emily little sis-in-law. "Meet your brother-in-arms." I grinned. By noon, the entire elite circle knew I'd cuckolded Jason. He stormed in as I eyed his wrist. "That watch, I'll buy it back. Youthful design suits Kyle better. You're past that vintage." Jason froze, recognizing the anniversary gift. "Must we become laughingstocks?" he rasped. I shrugged. "The joke's always been on me. Now we share the spotlight." Kyle appeared wearing a kitten apron, tugging my sleeve. "Should I set extra place for angry ex-husband?" Jason's face purpled. "I didn't bring Emily. Send him away." Kyle brandished a spatula indignantly. "Not parading mistresses isn't virtue." "And you're not a homewrecker?" Jason shot back. "I'm the upgrade," Kyle declared. "She wants me body and soul. That's real power." When Jason demanded no negotiation, I replied coolly, "Sign faster. Fewer memes." He left seething. Later, Kyle sulked about the homewrecker label. I didn't console him. Marriage wasn't my endgame. But by nightfall, he'd bounced back. "Didn't know I was the other man?" He grinned, nuzzling my neck. "Even if they beat me, I'd stay." We kept making scenes. Either he bought a yacht and set off fireworks for her, or he secured her a high-profile sinecure in their jointly funded company, matching Emily's share. Privately, Kyle transferred all received asset ownership back to Ivy. Publicly, he increasingly reveled in his role as the ostentatious homewrecker, making exaggerated faces whenever encountering Jason. I found it amusing but indulged his antics. The boy deserved some joy. The first to crack was Jason's mother. During our tense tea session, her veiled criticisms dripped with disappointment. The exemplary daughter-in-law she'd handpicked now embarrassed their family. Funny. I leaned back against the brocade sofa. I'm simply mirroring Jason's actions. Why was it acceptable when he did it? Her porcelain cup rattled as she spluttered about my shameless rebellion. Rebellion? My laughter echoed through the private tea room. He's CEO. I'm CEO. He keeps mistresses. I keep companions. Where's the imbalance? When she began reciting obsolete marital doctrines, I gripped her wrist midair. Careful, Mrs. Smith. I've been disciplining your son regularly. Shall I demonstrate on you? Jason emerged from behind the painted screen, jaw clenched. Enough. Let's finalize the divorce. Stop harassing my mother. After months of resistance, he'd finally relented, but demanded private negotiations. I methodically checked surveillance cameras before sitting. What if I begged you to stay? His raw vulnerability almost seemed genuine. Too late. My pen hovered over the documents. You were my childhood dream, he rasped. The girl I vowed to marry. To marry and torment? My smirk held no warmth. How pathetically masochistic. As papers fluttered to the floor, Jason lunged for the window. You'll watch me die before signing. I calculated the 4-story drop onto landscaped hedges. Your self-sacrificing ploy needs work, I remarked, recalling leaked plans about his hospitalization scheme. Change. He trembled against the casement. I'll change. No more Emily. No family interference. My ringing phone silenced him. Kyle's caller ID flashed, our daily dinner ritual. Don't. Jason's knuckles whitened on the windowsill. Choose me this once. You taught me well. I texted Kyle while walking away. Dead lovers make poor hostages. His scream shredded the air. You heartless bitch. If I can't have you. I paused at the door, glancing at disabled security cameras. I'll destroy everything. Spittle flew from his contorted face. Those leaked yacht photos? The embezzlement rumors? When I jump, every tabloid will brand you a murderer. Your precious Thompson legacy will crumble. leaving you chained to me forever. My stilettos clicked decisively toward the exit. Better lawyers than yours are already scrubbing servers. Jump if you crave traction, the hedges could use fertilizer. The slam of his body against closing elevator doors harmonized with security reactivation beeps. By sunset, 12 injunctions against the Smith family would freeze their assets. Some childhood dreams deserved burning. He let go and even leaned back, plummeting straight down. Sighing. I retrieved the surveillance camera I'd installed in the flower bed. Did he really think I'd trust him again? Of course I'd prepared my own precautions. Screams erupted below. Stepping outside, I saw Jason lying motionless on the pavement, blood pooling beneath his skull as bystanders froze in horror. With clinical efficiency, I dialed 911. The diagnosis came: swiftly severed spinal cord. Permanent paralysis. Applying crimson lipstick with steady hands, I visited my crippled husband's hospital room. Emily sat sniffling by the bed, scrambling away like a frightened rabbit when I entered. Ignoring her, I perched on Jason's bedside and wailed dramatically, "Oh darling. They say cheating destroys families. Look at you, half destroyed already." Kyle chimed in helpfully, "Such a mess you've made, brother." Jason's eyes bulged impotently above his oxygen tube. "Mrs. Smith chose that moment to charge in, screaming, "You wanted divorce. Take your boy toy and get out." Examining my manicure, I purred, "Whatever do you mean, mother-in-law? We're devoted partners." With Jason incapacitated, his company needs my guiding hand now more than ever. The old woman collapsed in a gratifying faint. Turning to Emily, I smiled sweetly. "The penthouse? The jewelry? I want every cent he spent on you returned by Friday." Her trembling nod satisfied me. Smoothing Jason's hospital gown, I produced and signed divorce papers. "Want these?" His guttural rasps made me laugh aloud. Shredding the documents, I whispered, "Don't worry, husband. Like you always said, no divorce." My lips brushed his ear, "But do outlive your mother. Won't you? Inheritance taxes are so much simpler that way." Tears leaked from his unblinking eyes. Mine too glistened, tears of profound gratitude. Our mutual friends had been most informative about Jason's planned accident. How thoughtful of him to cushion his fall zone until someone replaced the padding with landscaping stones. Kyle came saying goodbye weeks later. "You're safe now." He shrugged. 19 years old with the world before him. My guilt transferred $7 million to his account, a small price for the lover who'd anchored me during darkest nights. As for Jason, I've moved him to a Medicaid facility where devoted Emily can change his adult diapers. The Smith family fortune nestles comfortably in my portfolios now. Let historians debate whether that drainage ditch's rocks appeared spontaneously. Kyle's parting words still echo, "Eat properly. Sweet boy." I'll miss his concern, though not nearly as much as I'm enjoying my filet mignon lunches at the country club. I sat in my high-rise office, gazing at the river view beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows. This must be what they call the one that got away, I mused. Picking up the phone, I told my secretary, if Jason wants to discuss partnership, he'd better clean up his messy affairs first. The once domineering Jason now spoke to me with deference. This, I thought, was the alpha CEO starter pack: wealth, isolation, and a long-lost love who slipped through your fingers. There'd probably be some dramatic reunion down the line, complete with all the cliched theatrics. At least I'd avoided developing stress-induced ulcers. These days, I leveraged every resource at my disposal for self-care. No longer shackled by sentimentality or consumed by vengeance, I found contentment in this equilibrium. The Thompson family legacy gleamed brighter than the city lights below, each skyscraper window reflecting hard-won victories. Let the Smiths scheme in their marble mansions across town, my boardroom throne was forged from colder, cleaner steel. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more exciting stories. And drop your thoughts on this one in the comments. See you next time.